What's going on, Internet? It is your boy Eric Banholtz back again with another awesome episode from Urban Beardsman. Want to talk to you guys today about paying off your debts. Personally, I just wrote my last check to pay off my last bill, and I'm debt free. Want to give you guys some tips on how I was able to knock it out, give you guys a little bit of light of the tunnel. Now, the one solution I'm not going to tell you is to pay the minimum balance on there and expect to pay it off quickly. If you want to set a plan and a strategy for paying off your debt quickly, you're going to have to pay more than your minimum balance. But I like to break it up into 3 different ways to do it. Kind of a beginner way, an intermediate way, and the expert way of doing it. I personally have used a combination of all 3. But based on your own spending habits, you may find one works better than the other. The first way, and probably the one that is psychologically the most efficient, is the snowball method. And what you do with the snowball method is you look for the debt that you have with the smallest balance, and you really focus on paying that one off. So if you've got a credit card that you've got $5,000 left on it, and then you've got a card that you've got $20,000 left on it, you'd focus on the credit card, pay that off, and then all the resources that you've been using to pay on the credit card, you'll put that to the car. And then once you get the car paid off, you put it to the house. And what you're doing is the same amount that you're paying into it just moves on to the next payment. The key with this is not to take the money you're saving from paying off your credit card and just spend more money and keep what you're paying to the car the same. So it's all about the snowball. So you start with the small, pay off to the bigger, pay off to the biggest. And the nice thing about that is you get that relief of checking your boxes off and saying, yes, that bill's been paid, that debt's over, on to the next one. Now the downside with that one is mathematically and financially, it's not the most efficient way to pay off your debt. You're actually going to pay a little bit more in principal and a little bit more in interest. You'll pay the same in principal regardless, but in interest, you'll pay a little bit more with the snowball method. The alternative method is, if you're really good at it, is to focus on paying off the debt with the highest APR first. So you want to put as much money into that, whether it's a $20,000 one or a $5,000 one, wherever that APR is the highest, the most amount of your resources should be going to that. And then once you get that down, you move it on to your other debts. That's the next lowest in APR. So that's going to be your intermediate, and that's going to be the most efficient way to pay off your debts. The riskiest way and the final way, and one that I probably wouldn't recommend unless you really kind of know what you're doing, is by actually paying the minimum of your debt. But instead of that extra that you'd be paying to your debt, you're paying it to an investment. So let's say you've got a minimum budget of $500 going to your debts, and you're planning on paying $1,000 total to your debts. Rather than putting that $500 into the highest APR or to the lowest balance, you're putting that into an investment. So what I would recommend with this strategy is, this strategy is going to work great if you have a lot of debt that's really low APR. So if you've got anything under 4%, your 0% stuff, your 2% stuff, and you can make more money in a conservative investment in the stock market or in a business or anything like that, where you can grow that quicker and then use those resources and capital to do lump sum payments into your properties or into your debts, then that's going to be a really efficient way. So really, you kind of got to do a little bit of both. The way I was able to pay off my final debt was that I sold my house, and with those proceeds, we actually didn't really make much money on there. Didn't make any money, but we were able to move our investment from our property into our final payment. And boom, just like that. It was a big old check. Trust me, it was a big old check. But we paid it off, and we owe no one nothing. It's a great feeling. Hopefully this helps you guys get your debts in line, take care of it, and you'll be on your steps to freedom. As always, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Cheers. And beard on.